Thanks, Dan. Yeah, good spot. Okay, now on to this month's Google updates, and there's quite a few this month actually. Starting off with an update to the Google Drive Chat app. So previously, this app available in Google Chat would just ping you a message when there was an update to one of your docs. Maybe someone's requested access or left a comment. But now, as you can see with the GIF here on the screen, you can actually interact with that doc via Google Chat. So let's say someone's left you a comment on a document, you can actually reply to that comment through chat without having to actually open that document up. So a nice time saver there. So now we've got a few updates to the Android and iOS apps on Google. The first one here is an update to Google Sheets. So a little while ago, a timeline view was introduced on the web version of Sheets. This is now being extended to the Android and iOS apps as well. On Android devices, the toolbar is getting an update on Docs, Sheets, and Slides. And this update is bringing it more in line with the toolbar you'd see on the web version of those apps. And this one is an update to Google Drive on Android and iOS. So it's bringing some of the new views you see on Google Drive on the web. So for instance, the activity view, which shows you recent document activity about share requests and comments on documents, that's all coming to the Drive app as well. Again, to bring it more in line with what you see on the web. So it's good to see Google updating this and making this a lot more consistent across their apps. This one's quite a minor update to smart chips. So if you've inserted a time smart chip previously, you may have noticed you can't set a time zone, but now you can. So especially for companies like us, we're working across multiple time zones. This can be a quite useful feature. A new feature in Google Calendar now. So I don't know how many people here have ever tried creating a calendar invite with tens of thousands of users. So if you didn't know, you can actually create an invite with up to 100,000 guests per event. The update here is a new status bar within the calendar invite, which allows you to track invitations being sent out. This, I think, is a really useful update to Google Drive. So previously, if you wanted to find all the files shared with a particular individual or a particular group, you'd have to use a search query. So fine if you know all of your Google search query terms you can put into there, but maybe for an average user who doesn't know those, quite a tricky thing to discover. So now in Google Drive, there's a new filter under People, which, as you can see here in the image, allows you to find all the files you shared with a particular individual, a particular group, or all files shared externally. So one thing we often highlight in the security audits we do here are about oversharing of documents, things which might have been shared with the wrong group of individuals. Maybe a teacher shared something with the entire domain, then perhaps it should have just been shared with other teachers and not students. So this enables those users to really easily identify those files and correct their sharing permissions. So I think a quite useful feature there coming to Google Drive. Another Google Chat update here. This one is updating the UI. So there's a few updates to the UI which are coming. So firstly, there's a new homepage which allows quick access to new activity. There's a new shortcuts option on the navigation, along with a new mentions option. So if you clicked mentions, this will show all of the chat messages which mention you. And there's a new icon design, bringing it more in line with the new icons we've seen for Google Docs, Meet, and Drive, and so on. So this one is definitely a more of a developer update. So Google Meet is finally getting an update to its API, which will allow developers to programmatically create meetings. So this could be useful if you're wanting to create maybe an internal app for hosting parent evening meetings using Google Meet. You could create an app script in the future to be able to do that. You can also use API to retrieve information about meetings and past meetings as well. And that goes into also retrieving meeting artifacts. So any video recordings or transcripts and other items attached to that meeting could be retrieved using APIs. So definitely some interesting possibilities there for the future of what could be created. So we're going to be talking about this one in more depth in a minute, but just to quickly mention, Classroom Analytics is now rolling out to domains, which I'm really happy to hear about. So it started rolling out last week. It should take about 15 days. So if you're Education Plus, keep a lookout on your domain for Classroom Analytics, and that should be coming up soon. So this one's a fun update to Google Slides, which introduces a new sidebar for inserting images, I should say animated images like GIFs and stickers, as you can see in our GIF here. And I think that's rolling out now. I'm pretty sure I just had that pop up on one of my accounts, so you should be seeing that too. Another update to Google Meet, this one on I think Android and iOS devices. It doesn't say there specifically, but this is around making one-to-one video calls. So with this update, you no longer need to go and create a calendar invite or create a meeting link. You can simply enter the Google Meet app and place a call, and the person receiving that call would hear their Google Meet app ring and can answer it, and you can be talking moments later. So a nice update there for one-to-one calls. Another update for Google Meet now. So if you're using Google Meet on a mobile device and Google Meet detects that you're in motion, it automatically will suggest switching to using the on-the-go mode on Google Meet, which turns off your video and gives you a simplified user interface, removing those distractions if you're trying to use Google Meet while you're moving on the go, hopefully not while driving. Another Google Meet update here. So earlier this year, viewer mode was introduced. And this is a way of, when you're configuring a Google Meet via a calendar invite, you could assign attendees as viewers, in which case they'd just be able to watch the video feed and wouldn't be able to interact. So we wouldn't be able to turn on their audio and video or share their screen. This update slightly extends the privileges a viewer gets, and as you can see here in the GIF, they can use emoji reactions. And the other update happening to viewer mode here is the ability for meeting hosts and co-hosts to promote a viewer up to a full meeting participant, so they can turn on their video and audio. A minor update here on the Google Drive app on Android devices, which have a large screen. So Android tablets and flip devices can now view PDFs with 2 pages at once. This is an update to Gmail, and emojis in Gmail are receiving additional updates here for extra skin tones and gender preferences. So I don't know if you remember, back in June, there was an update to YouTube, which required you, if you wanted to continue using YouTube and having embedded videos in Google Docs and Classroom, you'd have needed to open up YouTubeeducation.com in your firewall. So Google are changing this back actually to youtube.com. So if you have previously either allowed or denied YouTubeeducation.com, you will now need to change this to youtube.com to ensure that YouTube is either continues to be allowed or denied in your organization. By the way, I will share these slides in the chat afterwards, and all of these slides include a link at the top, so you can click on that title and read more about these updates as well. So this is for anyone using the directory sync option the cloud-based directory sync option in the admin console. And this update allows you to automatically map attributes between Azure and Google. This is an update to Google Meet for Education Plus and Teaching and Learning Edition, which enables you to subtly touch up your appearance in Google Meet. So if you're on a very early morning call, like I was this morning, I could have selected the subtle touch up to remove any lines on my face. So you've got that option now going forward. And I think this is our last update. We used this, I'm sure we covered this update last month, but just in case we didn't, this is an update to managing spaces in bulk using the admin console. So a while ago in the admin console, Google added the ability for you to see all spaces within your organization and find spaces which aren't being used. So with this update, you can now bulk delete spaces as well. So making it a lot easier for you to manage those spaces without having to do things like use GAM or use the Google Chat API, which can be a bit tricky.